Good evening and welcome to Core TV News on the hour. I am Emmanuel Ezekiel. We start with the outcome of the results from the ongoing elections, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, has started the process of collation of the presidential election with the announcement of results from 8 states and the FCT. Announcing the results in Abuja, the individual returning officers of the 8 states came forward to announce the results of the election from the states. The results, which are immediately entered on the collation board at the center. A breakdown of the results release shows that the People's Democratic Party won in Ekiti with 176,466 votes as against the APC's 120,331 votes, while in Enugu the PDP won with 553,003 votes, while the APC scored 14,157 votes. In Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Osun and Kogi states, the APC emerged victorious, while the PDP claimed victory in the FCT. The current result tally, however, stands at over 2 million apiece, with the PDP having a slight lead. Meanwhile, the collation will continue at 8 p.m. Now, early indications from the first set of official results from the National Collation Center in Abuja are pointing to a tight presidential race. After results from 8 states and the FCT, the All Progressives Congress is holding a slight lead with 2,402,968 votes to 2,320,732 votes by the ruling People's Democratic Party. In addition, APC candidate Muhammadu Buhari has so far secured 25% of votes in 8 out of the 9, while President Goodluck Jonathan has a required 25% in all the declared states. Representatives of the two major parties at the Collation Center
the collation has started,
process, but
and
concern over the number of
we have gotten 8 states and the Federal Capital Territory. That's quite a far cry from the 36 states we have in this country. But we have started, and the chairman said 8 o'clock, about 10 states will be ready. Let's hope that by 8 o'clock we get the 10 states, and from there we'll gradually be going on till we get to the last state, and then the final result will be seen.
With this one, are you satisfied?
Well, it's a process that started. So far, so good. We're okay with what they are doing now. Well, what we have received so far tallies with what we got from our field officers from the various states that have been announced.
Your thoughts on the number of invalid and cancelled votes? They seem to be on the high side.
Yes, and but the reasons that are being given also are reasonably genuine, overvoting, and then fighting disruptions, smashing of ballot boxes. These are things we've been talking about, and I think they are reasonably valid issues that were raised before the cancellation.
My take is simple, that cancellation is it the appropriate authorities at the various levels, they have been given such powers, and what is important is, one, to ensure that whatever powers that are exercised are within the ambit of law, because the whole process is guided by law. And when I say law, the Constitution being the supreme thing, the supreme law, then Electoral Act, which in itself emanates from the Constitution, and of course regulations of INEC, as an election management body. So for as long as whatever action taken is within the ambit of this law, then it's okay. That's number one. Number two is that, don't forget, you recall that the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Independent Electoral Commission himself, Professor Tahiru Jega, did say that, you will believe that for as long as all the parties concerned were present, and were in agreement to that decision.
Meanwhile, the National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Uche Secondus, has demanded the cancellation of the presidential and national assembly elections in 7 states due to what he described as gross irregularities in the elections. Uche Secondos listed the alleged infractions in the states to include underage voting and midnight voting, saying the elections were marred by many forms of violation. The PDP National Vice Chairman, who was speaking at a press conference in Abuja, listed the states as Kano, Jigawa, Kaduna, Bauchi, Gombe, Katsina, and Kogi. Surprisingly, the states listed by the PDP chieftain are all PDP-controlled states except Kano. Moving on now, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has been declared the winner of the Enugu West senatorial seat with 120,075 out of the 123,286 valid votes cast in the district. His closest challenger, Louis Achieze of the All Progressives Congress (APC), polled 2,314 votes. The result, which was announced at Ogu Collation Center by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), appointed returning officer for the senatorial contest, Professor Fab Ono. In his acceptance speech, Senator Ekweremadu described his victory as a renewal of a political covenant with his people. The APC candidate has since congratulated Ekweremadu on his victory. Now, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room has expressed concern over reports of attempts in several states of the country to undermine the integrity of the collation of votes and outcome of the presidential and national assembly elections. This, according to the Civil Society Coalition, is because of the allegations that security operatives are being used to fiddle with the collation process before results get to the National Collation Center in Abuja. The Situation Room urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, to ensure the results that are announced reflect the true outcome of the votes cast by the Nigerian people. It also called on the international community to support the Nigerian people in defense of their right to democratically elect their leaders without political supervision by politicians. Now, as the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) begins final collation of results, the Presidential Campaign Office of the All Progressives Congress is wearing a new look. The two-story complex has been decorated in anticipation of the announcement of the party's candidate Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of the presidential election. The officials are confident of a resounding victory and are already in a celebratory mood. Spokesman for the APC presidential team, Garba Shehu, also told Core TV News that PDP claim of victory in 23 states without INEC's authority is one that warrants an arrest.
Nigerians are giving General Buhari a landslide. Decorations are on. It's reflecting the mood of the nation, not just the mood within the campaign office.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party insists that its candidate, Goodluck Jonathan, is leading in the presidential elections by at least 2 million votes. It maintained that it would resist all attempts to manipulate the outcome of the process. Spokesman for the party's presidential campaign organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, disclosed this at a conference in Abuja. He argued that the PDP got the result from its Situation Room and figures collated from various polling units, wards, local government areas and states in the Federation. Fani-Kayode further assured that President Goodluck Jonathan remains confident of winning a second term in office.
From each and every one of the polling units, from each and every one of the local government areas, and from each and every one of the states, but we will also come up, with a final figure showing how many votes our candidate got. And we've been doing that religiously and dutifully. And we will continue to do that to the very end. And I want to say, again, I want to re-emphasize this, that an attempt to announce any result that is not in absolute conformity with the will of the Nigerian people in this election, and that is based on collusion and propaganda of the opposition, who are already declaring they have won, will not be acceptable to us and will be disputed and will be firmly resisted. It's very important that each and every one of those that are stakeholders in this process understand and accept this. We will not sit by and allow ourselves to be robbed simply because some people believe that it is their right and their duty to take power through means of propaganda and lies and deceit. So we are very clear about what's going on.
Staying with the elections outcome, the All Progressives Congress APC said the delay in releasing the results of last weekend's elections in the Southeast and the South-South gives room for concern against the background of the results that are streaming in from other parts of the country. In a statement issued in Lagos on Monday by its National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed, the party said apart from Rivers and Akwa Ibom, where everyone knows that the situation is, there has been nothing but silence from the remaining states as far as the results are concerned. It said many concerned Nigerians have called the party to express their concern over the delay and to share their concerns of whether something sinister is behind the palpable silence. The party described as very curious the fact that the card readers largely function well in other parts of the country except the Southeast and the South-South, wondering whether this was a mere coincidence. Now, as Nigerians wait to hear the final declaration of the 2015 presidential election, the Imo State Police Command in a press release said it's aware of the fact that some political parties has intentions to disturb the peace of the state if result does not favor them. The press release signed by the forces PBRO stated that they are very much ready for whoever will participate in such unlawful acts. Meanwhile, soldiers have taken over most areas that might likely be a starting point of such violence. However, in Imo State, it appears that APC members are not happy with election results, claiming many of them were disenfranchised from voting. Imo State INEC Rec, on the other hand, said the election so far is credible enough, and as such, nothing should disturb the coalition process. So far, 3 casualties have been recorded as a result of electoral violence. Like in Imo, the driver hired to help convey sensitive materials was ambushed and killed by armed thugs along with 2 other INEC aid officials. At this point, we'll go for a quick break. We'll come back with more stories. Stay with us.
Morning, sir.
How are you, Mr. President?
How are you, sir?
How is the
campaign?
We must learn to live together as brothers, or perish together as fools. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Welcome back. Well, you can reach us on our following social media platform: Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News, and Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And of course, YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space and then news. Moving on with the election matters, the Ogun State chapter of the APC has outrightly rejected the outcome of the National Assembly result in 2 federal constituencies and a senatorial district. Olajumoke Olatunji was at a press conference organized by the campaign group. Her report.
Barely 24 hours after the announcement of the presidential and National Assembly election results, the Ogun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has outrightly rejected the outcome of the election in 2 federal constituencies and a senatorial district. The 2 federal constituencies are Remo North, Ikenne, Shagamu federal constituencies won by PDP, and Ogun Waterside, Ijebu East, Ijebu North federal constituencies. The party says that the election was marred by gross irregularities.
The APC hereby categorically states that last Saturday election in the Ogun Senatorial District was marked by gross irregularities, inducements, and intimidation of voters, manipulation, and falsification of the results. The results were announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, do not reflect the wishes of our people in Ogun Senatorial District.
The Deputy DG of the APC campaign organization, BC Adegoye, says that the party is determined to challenge the result of the Ogun East Senatorial District won by Buruji Kashamo and is ready to produce evidence.
Reflect predetermined, manipulated, and fictitious figures forged by rigging machinery of the PDP, People's Democratic Party that is, led by senatorial candidate Mr. Buruji Kashamo. The APC is determined to challenge results of the Ogun senatorial elections and the 2 House of Representatives seats within the confines of the law. We are having controvertible evidence of the manipulation that took place and the roles played by certain individuals.
With this early rejection by the party in less than 24 hours, it is only clear that more of this is yet to come. Olajumoke Olabisi, Joko TV News, Abeokuta.
And now to Kwara State. The presidential and National Assembly election in the state goes in favor of the APC. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Kwara State announcing the results had Muhammadu Buhari winning the presidential poll, while the senator representing Kwara Central, Bukola Saraki, got the return ticket. The incumbent Speaker of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Razak Atunwa, also won House of Rep seat.
Voters are credited for this election 1,073,849. Once again, 1,073,849 voters were accredited for the presidential election in Oyo State. And at the end of the exercise, the total number of votes polled by each of the parties is as follows. First, Action Alliance polled 6,331 votes. Action Alliance, 6,331 votes. ACPA, 8,979 votes. ACPA, 8,979 votes. AD, 6,282 votes. AD, 6,282 votes. ADC, 5,000 votes. ADC, 5,000 votes. APA, 4,468 votes. Total votes cast, 928,606. This result was duly signed by the coalition officer for the presidential election in your state, Professor Ayobami Salami, and was duly endorsed by the party agents of APC, AA, Action Alliance, NCP, and PDP.
The All Progressives Congress candidate Muhammadu Buhari has been announced the winner of the presidential poll in Oyo State. Following an extensive coalition of votes from all 33 local governments in the state, APC got a landslide win of 27 local government areas, while PDP made claim to the remaining 6 local government areas. The state coalition officer Ayobami Salami declared that the total number of valid votes cast as 881,352. Buhari polled 528,620 to defeat President Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party, who got 303,376 votes. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Edo State has commenced collation at the State Secretariat in Benin. The Vice Chancellor of University of Benin, Professor Faraday Orunwense, who is a returning officer for the state, is expected to announce who wins the keenly contested election in the state. As the various local governments coalition officers take turn to declare results from their end, the coalition, which started at about 10 p.m. last night, had the People's Democratic Party having an edge over the All Progressives Congress. 10 local governments have so far been announced, with PDP having 8, APC had 2. Coalition was paused at about 1:30 a.m. midnight to continue by 9 a.m. This morning, with 7 more local government to go and the local government left earlier suspended. It remains to be seen the outcome of today's final elections. And now to news outside Nigeria. Investigators searching the wreckage of the doomed Germanwings plane in the French Alps were forced Monday to resume the hunt on foot as bad weather hampered helicopter flights. Authorities are hoping to identify more DNA strands from the 150 people who died in Tuesday's March 24 crash, as well as locate the jet's second black box that should provide more clues to the circumstances of the tragedy. Forensic teams have isolated almost 80 distinct DNA strands from the pulverized aircraft and have described the grim task as unprecedented given the tricky mountain terrain and the speed at which the plane smashed in the rock. Authorities are hoping to build a more sturdy road to the crash site, both to ease access to forensic experts and for families who want to see where their loved ones perished. Media reports have emerged that 27-year-old the pilot suffered eye problems, adding to earlier reports he was severely depressed. And that's our package for 7. Thanks for watching. Coming up next is our focus on the election outcome. Stay with us. I'm Emmanuel Ezekiel.